everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Lunch Hour Sports Podcast. Here with your hosts, Jacob Smedley,
Sam Betts,
Justin Reedhammer,
Peter Amarante,
and Nathan Romanoff.
with today's special guest.
Cameron Whitney.
Well, not really a special guest anymore. Cameron comes on all the time doing our division predictions. He's an honorary host with us. Topics today include, we're doing yays and nays. The NBA schedule release is out. Gonna do some quick hitter games this season. Are you interested? Yay, are these big time games? Or nay, maybe change the channel, watch something else that night. Then we'll get into some division predictions, essentially our yearly segment here on the podcast, going around predicting division winners ahead of the start of the NFL season. Now, here's myself. I'll start us off today for basketball. Sam is getting the episode off from hosting, but he will be a part of it in just a moment. Sam, NBA season about to get started in about a month and a half now. Just before we get into these games, are you excited, my friend?
Yeah, I'm excited. Looking at actually kind of at the schedule right now, it looks like the season's supposed to start around October 2nd. There might be just like a couple of those like preseason games, but then we get into like Saturday, like October 4th, Sunday, October 5th, and Monday, October 6th is where we get a lot of really good action going on, Jake. So I am excited. Another NBA season's around the corner. Um, just kind of hyped for some more basketball action.
Of course, of course. Will the Thunder repeat? Will someone else take that crown in the NBA? We will see. But today, got a list of 8 games. There was an article on NBA.com. Check it out if you would like 8 key matchups to watch during the season. We're going to go through. Yay or nay? Are you going to be tuning in for this must-watch NBA action? Sam, the first one on the list on January 20th, the Spurs and the Rockets, a pair of Texas teams. Victor Wembanyama, Kevin Durant, Dylan Harper, Amen Thompson. What are we thinking? Yay or nay?
I'm gonna go yay. I really like I'm really kind of big on Wemby right now. He did kind of have that thrombosis kind of going up into his shoulder. That's a pretty scary thing. It's like a blood clot in your shoulder. We actually just saw Zach Wheeler kind of has something very similar to that. Um, he's doing a lot better now, and so is Wemby. I'm kind of interested also to see like you saw Wemby like going to like the Shaolin monk like temples and stuff like that and training
He's
with
getting
them.
ready. Every way possible.
I also do like that Rockets team is pretty good. Seguin, I'm not probably not saying his name
Alpin
right, but
Sengun. Sengun,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
Segun. Yes, Segun. Thompson, Fred Van Vliet's coming back. Just that Rocket team has usually been pretty solid, so I'm kind of hyped for that. That's going to be a pretty good matchup.
Yay, right there. I think both teams are going to be battling for the playoffs, too. The Rockets, of course, with Kevin Durant going all in there. The Spurs, hoping, like you said, for the health on that team. I think that they'll be in a playoff spot as well. Eastern Conference, Sam, we go to October 29th. We go to the Motor City for the Detroit Pistons hosting the Orlando Magic. Paolo Banchero versus Cade Cunningham. 2 rising stars in the East. 2 playoff teams last year in the East, with some teams that their recent history hasn't been that successful, but 2 teams on the rise. Yay or nay?
Like I'm going to go nay, Jake.
Oh,
I'm
oh.
not really sold on this Magic team. I know they just got Desmond Bain, who's a really good scorer for the Grizzlies, paired really well with John Morant. But I don't know, Jake. I'm not feeling this like Orlando team. I really would like them to be good. They've had some struggles here in the past years, and they've been kind of building and growing. But I mean, they also have Wendell Carter Jr., he's been a pretty solid power forward in the league as well. But I don't know. I'm not feeling this one. I'm gonna have to say nay.
All right, Sam. I see it. Gotta have some days in there. Third matchup now. Everyone's favorite. It's the Battle of LA on December 20th. It's the Clippers. It's the Lakers. The Unk Squad. The Unction, as the kids are saying these days, with the Clippers, with Chris Paul, with James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, against Luka Doncic and LeBron James. Yay or nay, Sam?
I'm gonna go yay. I mean, battle of the two LA teams. That's always usually a pretty good matchup. Like you said, Lakers. They got Braun. They got they got Luca. I mean, those two. Hopefully, they're gonna still work. I mean, Braun is still going strong. Year 20 plus. So I mean, Luca, I think he's gonna kind of come back. I know I thought I saw he just had like an injury when he's playing for the Slovenia team, but not really sure to the extent of that. I'm sure he'll be still ready before the season, so um I'm sure they're gonna have a fine time. The Clippers, they're like one of those teams who you think is gonna go to who's gonna win the playoffs every year, but they just kind of fall a little short. But I'm hoping Kawhi kind of plays. Hopefully he stays healthy. James Harden, Zubac, Chris Paul coming back is a really cool. That's actually I really thought that was a cool deal that him and the Clippers made, and him getting the standing ovation, talking in front of the Clippers faithful. That was a really solid moment. So I hope for him to have some success this year, and I think that's just going to be whenever you get those two LA teams together, it's usually a pretty good matchup. So I'm going to have to go yay.
I'm with you right there, Sam. Yay, LA teams, Showtime, the Clippers, with what they're doing. Super excited for that as well. Gonna keep it with the Lakers. February 8th, the defending NBA champs, the OKC Thunder, go to LA to play LeBron and the Lakers. Yay or nay, Sam? Champs, go out to LA.
I'm gonna have to say yay to that. Again, like we talked about the Lakers, they're gonna be fairly decent this year, but I think that's just gonna be one of those games where you kind of see the champs able to defend their reign. You have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, reigning MVP, reigning Finals MVP. Um, it's just gonna be nice to see him kind of lead this young team. With Lugned's Dort, Williams, a couple of those guys still returning. So very interested to kind of see how that team stacks up against a team like the Lakers and if they're gonna come back and say, hey, we're still the champs. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give that a yay.
I'm gonna say nay, Sam. Thunder gonna beat him handily. Now, I think play some devil's advocate. I think there are some better games out there. I'll say nay. 3-1, 3 yays, 1 nay for Sam here. Final four. We'll go keep it with the Thunder on February 1st. Turning the calendar to February. The Thunder going against the Nuggets. The 7-game series in the West. Tough game, tough matchup. Sam, yay or nay?
I don't know, Jake. I'm gonna have to say yay again. I mean, we've seen these teams go against each other in the playoffs. I think this is one of those games where you kind of get to see like if these teams do end up pairing against each other again, how is it gonna look? Now, obviously, one game in the regular season doesn't necessarily determine how a series will go in the playoffs, but it gives you a little bit of insight how these teams play against each other. Are tensions flaring? Are guys getting ejected for like are they kind of going back and forth with each other? Um, I like matchups like that. I think it's pretty interesting, so I'm gonna have to give it a yay.
All right, Sam. Hey, you guys know the meme. All in the comments. Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. That's what I'm looking at with this game in the middle of the regular season. Nuggets got better. The Thunder probably still the best team in the league right now as it stands. I'm with you right there, Sam. We're going to go. Lakers are in another game, but this time they're going to Texas, Sam. Where are they going in Texas? They're going to Dallas. You know who's going back to Dallas? Luka Doncic is going back to Dallas. The fans, that longed for him. They traded him away. Now he's coming back again. Sam, yay or nay? You watching this?
I don't know. I mean, Luca returning back, like that is definitely a cool part of it. But I think like I don't know. I'm not feeling this one, Jake. I'm gonna have to go nay.
Wow. Wow. All right. Hey, I think he already went back. I see what you're saying, Sam.
Yeah,
I'll
like
get
he
I'll
already
get
went
on that.
back, and
Yeah.
then like Anthony Davis is already like they've played against the Lakers. Like it's like I understand where you're coming. I understand where you're coming from, and it's like special like stuff like that. But like we've kind of already been there already.
Been there, done that. They're gonna keep doing that though until his contract's out, essentially, or until he leaves the Lakers. That matchup's gonna be televised and broadcasted. Final two, Sam. Hawks at the Knicks, beginning of January. Trae Young, Ice Trae, in Madison Square. What are we thinking? Yay or nay? Two playoff teams, most likely. The Hawks really improved this offseason.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'll go yay with that one. I mean, I think that's just gonna be a strong. That's just gonna be a strong game. The Knicks, um, Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, um, a lot of those guys still coming back playing. Um, so I think a lot of those. I just think it's gonna be two strong teams going up against each other. Trey Young, really would like to just see him take. I mean, obviously he's a pretty big star in the NBA. I would just like to see him take that next step into going into like superstar status, if that makes sense. You know, very young, talented point guard, has been in the league for a while, has definitely made a very big impact, but would just like to see him take that next step to help his team kind of get at least further into the playoffs than they have before instead of just being a first round exit. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go yay.
I'm right there with you. Jalen Johnson coming back from injury. They got Kristaps Porzingis as well to help the front court. I'm all in. Trae Young in New York is a sight to see. Final matchup. Sam, only two nays. He's interested. He's ready. Sam's ready to go. Will he be interested in this matchup? The Oklahoma City Thunder again hosting Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards. The three for three. And the Timberwolves. What are we thinking, Sam? This is on November 26th, Thanksgiving, chowing down on some turkey, getting ready to see this matchup.
I'm gonna go yay with this one. This is
Oh,
again, this is another one of those like solid matchups. OKC Thunder. We've talked about them before. They're the defending champs, but Timberwolves are just one of those teams that are still just rising to the occasion. They've made deep playoff runs. They have Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle. Um, so I think they got a strong core. Nas Reed coming off the bench, big six man. So I mean, it's going to be a pretty good game, I would assume. I don't these two teams again. This could be another like playoff picture that we kind of see, and would kind of give us an idea of how it would go in a playoff scenario. So with my final guess, I'm going to go with yay.
I'm right there with you, Sam. With the yay. 6 yays, 2 nays from Sam. He's ready to go. The NBA season, as mentioned, starts up the middle to end of October. Sam, thanks for playing along. Now, it's time for some football division predictions. Ready to go. Justin has them queued up. We're going to go around, going to pick our division predictions. Justin, take it away.
Thank you, Jacob. Much like how Sam always gets giddy about the spring training for baseball, I just love this time of year because we get to the start of the NFL season where we get to do our favorite segment. Sorry, Sam, but it is predicting the NFL divisions and who's going to be on top. Plus, a look ahead to the playoffs potentially. So let's get started where we usually get started on the NFC side of things in the NFC North, a division consisting of the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions. And that is not the order I have them in, of course, because I would be crazy to say that. I think for this one, I'm starting off with an easy one. I think the Lions are going to take this division because they're a pretty good team. Followed up, I think we're going to go with the Packers on my side of things here. Then I have the Vikings and the Bears coming up in last.
I'm right there with you, Justin. I did some thinking, some thought on this myself. Yeah, Lions, the Packers, again, don't know what's going on with Jordan Love. I like the addition of Matthew Golden. Their defense has been great. The injuries concern me, but I feel like they have some stability there. Among, of course, the Bears with the change, bringing in Ben Johnson. Of course, the Lions losing all of their, coordinators and stuff like that, and some of their players as well out the door. I think, for me, it's Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. I agree, Bears at the bottom. Yeah, so the Vikings and the Packers, though, those... I don't know. If J.J. McCarthy exceeds expectations, though, I don't know. I feel like they could switch, but I'm not believing in that right now.
I don't know. I want to agree with Jake on the Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. Look, as good as we all think, or some people may think J.J. McCarthy's going to be, it's his first year in the league. It's his first real start. It's his first, well, not first year in the league, but his first real start in the NFL season. Even though you have weapons like Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, I mean, you can only do so much as a rookie redshirt quarterback. So, in a sense, and I know that Jake was talking about the Green Bay Packers injuries, I still think Jordan Love has so many weapons on that offense to utilize, even with the injuries, that could they go for a run for first place if Detroit collapses under this new defensive management? Sure. Do I see it happening? Not really, so that's why I'm kind of sticking Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears.
I'm not going to follow this cookie cutter mold that you guys have going right here, all right? All right, this is where I'm going to come in. I haven't really done much research for this, but you know what? What I do know is that the Lions lost both their coordinators this past offseason, so they got 2 new coordinators in there. And we all saw, honestly, the embarrassment of a game that ended their season, at least for their defense. So I'm a little concerned about their defense, and I think that the Packers will actually edge out the Lions this season for the division. You said a lot of change, 2 new coordinators, so that's one of the reasons. I also think that the Packers are building, like you said, Jake, a lot of offensive weapons. Matthew Golden, great addition. Josh Jacobs. So I'm going to go Packers. Lions second still. I still think they're a good team, but I just think they're going to struggle a little bit more this year with having lost some players and the 2 new coordinators. Then the Bears third, the Vikings fourth. I have no faith in McCarthy. It's his first year. It's not going to be the same as last season for the Vikings. It's just, I don't think they're really going to be that competitive of a team, personally. And, Caleb Williams is going into his second year now with Ben Johnson. The Bears looked good this preseason, so I think that they have momentum going into the season. I think they'll finish third and the Vikings fourth.
Wow, I'm on a different wave than you guys. I have the Lions still becoming first. I understand the whole coordinator situation, and yeah, that could be something to look at, but I don't think you can take away that they know what they're coming up with, what's going to happen, all that stuff. I have actually the Vikings number 2. I know we are kind of like J.J. McCarthy's a rookie quarterback, but what about the defense? We haven't looked at that defense last season. I think impressed everybody. Nobody thought they were ever going to be good. Nobody thought they were going to be great. But that Vikings defense did do some good things last season. I get the quarterback situation. I get the quarterback play. I'm very optimistic about it, yes. Now, obviously, he goes in there, does crap, then okay. But I think we still got to look at the defensive side of the ball and say, hey, this defense can keep up with other teams. So for me, I have the Lions, the Vikings. I think the Vikings and the Green Bay Packers will fight this out. And I have Chicago being 4th place, but I think Chicago will be a little bit better, but not up to where these other 3 teams are. I think Ben Johnson will make that offense, with Loveland they have now. And and these younger receivers they still have, I think they'll play a little bit better, but I don't think they're up to par with some of these other people who are contenders. So.
Yeah, I kind of like the way that you say that. I think Chicago will be better this season, but they're just not at the level quite yet that the other three teams in the division are. But there is a chance that they can beat out the Vikings depending on how J.J. McCarthy plays. But let's move it down to the South, where we kind of have one of the easier divisions to call. I think this one's Tampa Bay all day long, just because they're the most talented team. The Atlanta Falcons, they're moving in the right direction, but I think they've still got a way to go, so they'll be second. The Carolina Panthers also moving in the right direction, but again, they're still climbing, so I think they'll be third. And I think the New Orleans Saints got hit with a lot of misfortune, so they might be one of, if not the worst team in the league. Last time I said that, the Vikings ended up going 14-3, so who knows? Maybe I'll jinx them in the right way, but for now I have them at number 32.
Yeah, I like that order, Justin. Here's another may not be Katy Perry wrecking ballish as Nate in our last division. Little going through and might have been the wrong comparison. Anyways, Nate mixing up the order there. But for me, I late night recording. Disclaimer for those listening. we're at last leg here. All right, Bucks. I think I'm a believer in the Panthers, guys. Am I crazy to believe in the Panthers after the end of the season last year? Is that crazy? Bryce Young. I like the pick of Tet McMillan. I like what they're doing on the defensive side with those young players. You know, in a division like the NFC South, anything can happen. So I'm putting the Panthers at second. Falcons, something happens where they slip to third, and the Saints go to fourth.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what some of the things that you said there, Jake. I think that Tampa Bay will be in first. I think that they're still cooking with their wide receivers in Baker Mayfield, even though Godwin's out for the foreseeable future with his injury. I know they're high on Bucky Irving. They're reformatting that defense to be solid in the gaps that it left over the last few years. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay with Atlanta in a close second, but I think Carolina might be a game or two away from second place from overcoming them. I think that Carolina's headed on all the right directions, like you said, about adding young guys to the defense and Bryce Young getting better. You know, he's got some veteran wide receiver in Adam Thielen, and he's got Xavier Legette. So I say it's Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Carolina. I'm sorry, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Carolina, then New Orleans. Just New Orleans needs a whole new setup, so that's what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, I'm pretty in stride there with you, Pete. I think that, as you guys said, Tampa Bay still the best team in this division. Baker Mayfield, experienced, he's been there, done that. I like what they got going on offense, and I think they have probably, the best defense in that division. I'll go Atlanta second. I think that they'll find a way to get second. I'm not sure what the quarterback situation is going to be. If it's going to be Penix starting the year, could be interesting to see. But I just think that with some of the talent they have, it's just a little, like Peter said, maybe a game or two above where the Panthers will finish. Well, I have them third. Like these guys said, going in the right direction, like what they did the end of last season. I think they can carry that into this season. And then fourth, Justin, like you said, the Saints. I honestly think they'll be one of the worst teams in the league. They're just not going in the right direction. I know it's not what Joji wants to hear, but, yeah, it is what it is. The Saints it's a gloomy outlook for the Saints at the moment.
I'm kind of on the similar wave of Jacob. I actually like what he said as well, which was kind of fall in the lines to what I was going to kind of say. But I will say I have the Bucks going first. I think they're the most complete team in this division with, Bucky Irving. Baker is he's still a decent quarterback. Pair him with Emeka Ibuka, Chris Godwin. Mike Evans. That's a dangerous receiver core right there with the running back of Bucky. And then you add on the defense, who's not the worst, not the best, middle of the pack, decent defense. I mean, I think they're the most complete team. I go Carolina at number 2. Am I sold on defense of Carolina yet? Not quite, but I feel like in this division, defense is not necessarily heavy in terms of being complete. But if you're talking about the offensive side of the ball, I like how Bryce Young started to come on. I like what they have as Chuba Hubbard in the running back. I like that they actually picked up a guy like Hunter Renfrow who can come in, play very well. Pair that up with Adam Thielen, or not, yeah, Adam Thielen. Am I right? Yeah, Adam Thielen and Ted McMillan. I like what I'm seeing from them, but I think Carolina and Falcons will be very close. The Falcons, I think their quarterback, I know it's probably going to be Penix, obviously, but I don't have a lot of trust in Penix. But I like Bijan a lot. I think Bijan's a great running back. Drake London, he's a good receiver. Kyle Pitts has been underutilized. How many years? But I'm going to give the edge to the Panthers and then Falcons at the 3. And then I agree with Nate on this take. I think the Saints are going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year.
All right. Lord, give me strength because we're about to talk about the NFC East. All right.
The Lord gives you strength. I give you strength. I'm not the Lord,
strength,
but I'm
Jacob.
giving you strength.
Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate your strength. As I talk about the Philadelphia Eagles winning this one again. And coming up right behind them, though, I'm going to have the Washington Commanders just about a win or 2 behind. It's going to be a pretty good fight, and who knows if Jaden Daniels really takes off, we might see a switch there. I'm not calling that, but I can see it happening. In third place, I'm going to have the Dallas Cowboys, and then finally, I have the New York Giants sitting at the bottom. They're just not good enough to compete. Although, who knows, maybe Dallas can slide down there if they keep poking the bear with Micah Parsons.
You kind of led right into my thought process, and I'm not going to make an incorrect pop culture reference this time, guys. I'm not going to go there. I made my mistake.
The Katy Perry wrecking ball is quite wild.
Yes, I was thinking firework, and I was thinking wrecking ball collided in my head. But anyways, what's not going to collide, I think, first place, I think, the Eagles, as you mentioned, Justin, coming off the Super Bowl, we have the resident Eagles fans in here. I think there's going to be some frustrating moment. They lost some secondary members. They lost some members on the defense. But we talk about complete teams. I think right now they have warranted to be first in this division. Second and third, again, I think the Commanders are the better team right now and deserve that number 2 spot. But if there's some slumping from Jaden Daniels, if there's any sophomore slump, and if that Dallas offense, they got George Pickens, they have CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott is back. I'm not it's Dallas's year type of crowd, but if that offense is firing on all cylinders, could make it close for that 2-3. But I'm right there with you, Justin, going Commanders, Cowboys, Giants as my 4 list.
Yeah, I'm just going to continue on the track here. The Eagles I will put in first as a repeat winner of the division. Like we said, most complete team right now in the division. Second, I'm going to go with the Commanders, but also kind of what Jake said about there being a sophomore slump with Jaden Daniels if that were to happen, and if by chance the Cowboys find some sort of firing on all cylinders offense with this new head coaching staff. Possible they switch places, but I'm going to go Eagles, Commanders, Dallas, Giants. I think that the Giants are young, they're building, and they need that time to build before they have any kind of chance of getting out of 4th place. So I would say Eagles, Commanders, Dallas, Giants.
Yeah, no change from me here, guys. Like y'all said, Eagles far and away. I mean, the most complete team in this division, defending Super Bowl champs. They'll win it in my eyes. The Commanders, I think, will finish second, unless, we see a significant sophomore slump from Jaden Daniels. And and just problems with that offense. But at the moment, I don't foresee that happening. Dallas in third. I think Dallas will, maybe be a little better than they were last year, but it's, like you said, it really depends on what happens with Micah Parsons and how that situation works out, because he is a very big part of that defense. And then the Giants, like you guys said, young, still building. I'm not a big Russ guy. I don't think Russell Wilson is that guy anymore. So I just don't foresee it going well. For the Giants, I think they'll finish fourth.
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength as you guys. I think for me though, I know you guys said about the Commanders being second place, and I every reason to because of the NFC. A championship game. Nobody would have ever thought they would have ever been there from last season. But I have the Eagles finishing first, obviously, most complete team. I mean, hands down. But I do have the Dallas Cowboys as the number 2. I just think since, adding a guy like George Pickens really elevates them not to have to constantly, like, CeeDee Lamb being double-teamed like crazy. You kind of got, like, 2 athletic guys out there, going back and forth. But, again, you don't know. I'm not on the bandwagon of Dallas, but this is just, you never know. Micah Parsons, yeah, he's a big addition to that defense, so if they don't get that figured out, they might be a little bit in trouble, but hopefully that gets figured out, and I'm going based off that they probably will get it figured out, but I'm going to have Eagles at 1, Dallas at 2, Commanders at 3, and then the Giants in last place, only because, yeah, they have Russell Wilson starting, but Russell's not the same Russ anymore, and their quarterback situation room is one of the weirdest rooms I think I've ever seen in a National Football League. But yeah, that's gonna be my list right there.
All right, now here's the division that really surprised me when I went through it. All right, the NFC West, because you know what I got? I got the San Francisco 49ers walking away from this one. I got them stealing this thing by like 3 or 4 games, and for all the wrong reasons. Because when I looked at this, I scrolled through their schedule and my jaw just dropped. I was like, are you kidding me? This is who they're playing?
That last place schedule. The last place schedule.
It is absolutely insane, the teams that they're going to be playing this season. Like, I'm not sure that any of their opponents had more than 9 or 10 wins last year. And that's like 1 or 2 of them. Like, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL, and they are going, if they don't win 12 games this year, then there's something seriously wrong with that San Francisco 49ers team.
Let me guess, they're playing the AFC South?
I believe so. I think they're playing the AFC and the NFC South.
Oh, well.
And their own division isn't very strong either, so. Speaking of which, I have the Rams sitting at number 2 in that division. Still a good team, just not as easy of a schedule. And then Seattle at 3, they just lost their quarterback, so they got Sam Darnold now. We'll see how he does there. It's a new test for him. And then the Arizona Cardinals at 4.
Yeah, great detective work on the schedule there, Justin. I knew, of course, the last place teams get the easiest schedule, just again based on the performance, the last year's performance. But yeah, man, that is quite an easy schedule. I'm gonna stick to my guns though with the Rams, the LA Rams. They're going. I have them right now winning the division, then the 49ers. I do think the 49ers are still a playoff team, and we can get into that a little bit later on. I have them at number 2. The Cardinals. I'm a little bit higher on the Cardinals. Kyler Murray back, Trey McBride, that offense. I think the defense, adding a guy like Josh Sweat, kind of adding some more free agents there, trying to help that out. I just think they're a slightly better team than Seattle with their QB situation, with their offensive pieces that have gone out the door recently. So for me, it's Rams, 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks, 49ers. Again, you mentioned the easy schedule. Guys are coming back healthier. I got to see it. I got to see it first. You got the easy schedule for me. Got to prove it back to me that you're one of the best teams in the NFC again.
Just because you win 12 games does not mean you're one of the best teams. The Pittsburgh Steelers
I
proved that
know.
back
Yeah,
back in
that's true.
2020.
That's true. That's true.
Where my head is at is I'm kind of tossed between the Rams and the 49ers. The 49ers have a really easy schedule, but they lost Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk's out for at least 6 to 7 weeks with his really tough injury. Brock Purdy has George Kittle to throw to, but not many other people to throw to, even though he's high off that extension on his contract, so congrats to him. But I feel like the Rams are a little more complete of a team right now with not dealing with as many injuries other than Matt Stafford being in his questionable condition. So given that Matt Stafford's healthy, I'm going to go with the Rams 49ers. And I agree with Jake. I'm higher on Arizona this season over Seattle. Even though Seattle has Cooper Kupp, I still think it'll be Rams 49ers in a game or two, Arizona than Seattle.
Yeah, I'm kind of in line with you guys there. Although Justin's making me think, I was not aware of this very weak schedule.
I would
the
take a look at it.
49ers
I would take a look at
I
it.
would have to take a look at this, because if that is the case, then there's a reality where I can see the 49ers finishing above the Rams, even though I still think the Rams are a slightly better team. So for that reason, I'm going to go Rams 1, 49ers 2, but I think it'll be very close. Comes down to a game, perhaps a game that they play against each other, most likely. And then third, I'm with you guys. I like the Cardinals at 3. I think they're slightly better than the Seahawks. Just more of a team there. Kyler Murray's coming back. Like you said, Jake, they got Trey McBride still. Defense got a little better. And the Seahawks, it's a new time there. Sam Darnold coming in. They don't have DK Metcalf anymore. I just think they're going to struggle a little bit, and I just see them finishing bottom of the division this year.
This division was actually interesting to me. Yeah, I know we already mentioned the easy schedule, but I mean, even though they had an easy schedule, the 49ers were still not that great of a team last year either, and I know they lost a lot. They have. But I think the Rams, I'm on the wave still with I think the Rams are going to win this division. I think they are still the most complete team. I think, Devontae Adams being there now with Puka Nacua allows, more weapons because Cooper Kupp left and obviously went to the Seahawks. But, so, I mean, there's that. But just because I think the easy schedule, I'm going to have the Niners as number 2, only because of that easy schedule. They do have some weapons. Peter forgot to mention Ricky Pearsall coming back off of that injury when he got shot in the chest. Juwan Jennings they still have. So they still have some weapons there and some guys, obviously Kittle. So they have guys they can use on that offense. But I'm not high on Purdy. I think Purdy's all right, but not high on him. I actually have the Seahawks here as the third team. The reason for that is because I know they lost some pieces. But, I mean, and I know Sam Darnold played with the Vikings with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson last season. I get it. But I just think the Seahawks defense really helps them elevate a little bit. I think that defense is very underappreciated. And I think if that defense can do enough for that offense, I think they'll be a little bit more complete than the Arizona Cardinals. I don't hate the Cardinals. I like Trey McBride. I like Marvin Harrison. I think my biggest concern with the Cardinals is that defense isn't that great, and Kyler Murray, man, like he hasn't been playing that well. Kyler needs to come back, have a decent year, prove that he can really, truly, completely play. But I haven't seen that from him, so for that sake, I have my list as the Rams as 1, Niners 2, Seahawks as 3, and the Cardinals as 4.
Now let's get into the AFC side, and we'll start with the AFC North, one of probably the most competitive divisions every single year. For every single year, actually, for the AFC North, I always give them 3 wins and 3 losses each in the division. That's how competitive they are. I always feel like they're all going to win half the games. It's just every single time they play, it seems like it's going to be a close one, no matter how good or bad the teams are. But for this one, you got to pick a winner. So I have at number 1 the Baltimore Ravens, of course, with Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. And then at number 2, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. Their terrible defense cannot stop their amazing offense from at least snagging the number 2 spot. If they have a strong start this year, they are probably going to be a playoff team. If they start slow, we'll see what happens. And then I have the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 3rd spot and the Cleveland Browns sitting at the back with 6 quarterbacks on the roster.
I see where you're coming from, Justin. I think it could easily go that way. We have our resident Steelers fan in the building, Cameron Whitney. He's got the jacket on. He's all slunched over. He's ready to hear what I'm about to say. It's the Ravens, and I have the Pittsburgh Steelers number 2. Justin, you mentioned the reason why I'm doing this right now. That Bengals defense concerns me, and it concerns me very much. You guys watched the preseason game against the Commanders that I saw the highlights for too. That was concerning. That was very concerning. And, I think that offense is going to be stupendous. It's going to be great. Fireworks. They're going to put up, 30-plus points, multiple times. But I think that the Steelers, despite the old guys that they have roaming around the field, I think they have the most complete team. We talked about that earlier, the most complete team out of the 2 of them for those spots. So I have Steelers, then Bengals, then Browns. I think, again, the shootouts with the Bengals, I don't know if that will lead to enough success. I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'll kind of agree with Jake here. I think that the Ravens are going to take the division, obviously. But I'm going to put Pittsburgh at 2nd here. I think that, and purely the reason I think that is because of the defense. I think this offense is going to struggle very much with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. And even though you have DK Metcalf, he's old. He's struggled with some leg injuries. So I think that purely the Steelers' complete defense will be the reason why they win games. And then Cincinnati's defense is going to be the reason that they knock them out of 2nd, and Cleveland is always just a dumpster fire. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory there.
Yeah, this is, as you guys said, one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL every year, it seems. And for the number 1 spot, I agree with everything you guys have said. The Ravens, I think, will win the division once again. They're just overall the best team in that division, a stacked roster pretty much on both sides of the ball. 2 is where things get interesting, and this is where I wish I would have been able to do some research beforehand and look at the schedules, because I really think it could come down to who the Bengals and Steelers play and where it's at. And for that reason, I'm just gonna lean into my bias and go Bengals at 2, Steelers at 3, baby, because I'm a Pittsburgh hater kind of. But yeah, I think the Bengals have a better offense, and if they are able to have a good start to the year, unlike last year, I think that they can get it together, and I think that they can get 2nd place, and they'll be in the playoff picture this year. Steelers, then 3rd. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's got it. All right, he's old. I think he's washed. And even though y'all added DK Metcalf, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to be great. And you got a great defense, but you got to put up points. You can't have Chris Boswell kicking 8 field goals a game. So I think you'll be 3, and then as Peter said, the Browns. Dumpster fire, 4th place. Who knows what's going to happen? The only thing I'll guarantee is that Shedeur starts at least 1 game this season.
I have the Ravens winning the division. They're a most complete team. With adding Jair Alexander to that secondary, with also drafting Malachi Starks and having Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton in that backfield, I think that secondary is going to be absolutely disgusting, with also having Roquan Smith as the linebacker. Either way, I can go through that depth chart all day. That doesn't really matter. My concern with Baltimore every year has always been receiver because they always have Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, but they always throw to tight ends because they don't have really receiver depth there. But I obviously have them winning the division. And my personal take, as much as I hate it because I'm a Steelers fan, I think Baltimore has a really good shot this year to make it to the big game. They're going to be my pick to make it to the big game really early in the season. Number 2, I have the Steelers. I know Nate doesn't really like that take because he's a Steelers.
It's fair.
I'm
a Pittsburgh. How can I say?
No, that's fine. I might have respect for the Broncos, but you hate the Steelers. That's okay. That's okay. Anyway,
transfer property doesn't work here.
I know.
Listen. Penguins hate that this leads to the rest of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. No, I get it. You're good. But no, for me, I think the Steelers, like what Jacob said, and this is and I'm even being unbiased about this, they are the most complete team in terms of these other teams I'm talking about, the other two. I get the quarterback play. I understand Aaron Rodgers. He's not in his prime, Green Bay, Packers, Aaron Rodgers. I get it. The Steelers could still get over 500 with Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, all these other guys. And I'm not saying the defense hasn't carried, especially last season when we just kicked field goals. I get it. But adding guys like DK Metcalf, we have one of the best tight end rooms now. 3 good running backs that capitalize off of each other with Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, Caleb Johnson, who we drafted. I think that offense can still score points. But I'm optimistic. So, and then at the 3rd spot, I have the Bengals. I think as much as that offense will be explosive, put up fantasy numbers with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. Yes, they will be explosive. And also Chase Brown. But I'm worried about that defense and that O-line. I don't think we talked about that O-line yet, but that O-line is actually terrible. They have a terrible O-line as well. And how much are you going to do to be able to protect the quarterback if he can only do so much, especially against better teams? So that's my concern with the Bengals. So I have them at the 3 spot for that reason. And then at the 4 spot, I have the Browns because it's the Browns.
Yeah. Guys, if we would combine the Bengals offense and the Steelers defense, do you think they would beat the Chiefs? Question.
Yes. Absolutely. Without question.
I think it's a good thought experiment. You have a great offense with Burrow, with Chase, with Brown. You add that to the Steelers defense.
Honestly,
that's a team that could beat the Chiefs.
If you give that offense even a mediocre defense, they'll probably beat the Chiefs.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, something that's not interesting to think about, the AFC South. Let's talk about that now. I have similar feelings to the NFC South. There's one team that's decent. The rest of them, it's a battle of garbage. Let's put it simply. I got Houston Texans winning this one. Jacksonville's going to take the 2nd spot just because they have Trevor Lawrence. I think he's the most talented quarterback besides C.J. Stroud. And then I have Indianapolis Colts and then Tennessee Titans, but that's just because Cam Ward's a rookie. Honestly, that could go either way for me. I really don't care those last two. Who cares? They're going to be 28 and 29 in the league.
Yeah, I agree with that list, Justin. Texans, Jags, Colts, Titans. Interested to see how the rookies in that division play. Of course, talking about Travis Hunter, talking about Cam Wood, Tyler Warren for our Penn State guys there with the Colts.
Actually, the Colts are going to win the division. Sorry. Tyler Warren. Forgot.
Daniel Jones lead them all the way. There we go. Yeah, that's yeah, you're right. It's a little barren.
You saw what we did with another Penn State All-Star, so you know.
Hey, yeah. I mean, he won a playoff game. Daniel Jones won a playoff game. Not many AFC South quarterbacks. The other 3, I mean, C.J. Stroud, but not much else. But yeah, Texans, Jags, Colts, Titans, right there on that train.
I want to just disagree on one little facet of this. I think we'll see the Texans in 1st. I think we'll see the Jags in 2nd. But I think we're going to see the Titans in 3rd here. I trust Cam Ward a little more than I trust Daniel Jones. His career in New York has said enough for it. But I mean, Cam Ward has two really good veteran wide receivers in Tyler Lockett and in Calvin Ridley. And all preseason, Calvin Ridley and Cam Ward have shown a lot of progression together. And they got Tony Pollard in the backfield, who's proven himself to be a really elusive back. So I want to give the Titans a little glisten of hope here after the 2 or 3 years that they've been suffering in the bottom of their division. So I will go with the Texans, Jags, Titans, Colts.
Well, Peter, I'm going to say that suffering continues for Titans fans. I'm gonna stick with Justin and Jake here. Texans win this division easy. Jags second. Colts get third. I think they're just more of a complete team than the Titans. And, Daniel Jones, not great, but like Jake said, he's got a playoff win. He's had his ups and downs. Maybe here in Indianapolis he can find a little bit, more firm footing and, not have a completely terrible year. And it really depends, like Justin said, on how Cam Ward plays. But at the end of the day, neither the Colts or Titans are going to be competing for a playoff spot, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, this for some reason this division was interesting for me, and not because it's the great division, but just because there's a lot of quarterbacks that have something to prove. You have Anthony Richardson, you have Trevor Lawrence, and you have Cam Ward. I'm not saying C.J. Stroud; he doesn't have anything to prove, but these three guys have something to prove. Trevor Lawrence, hasn't really had. Yeah, they made it to the playoffs, right, the one year, but they really haven't gotten their groove for a minute now. So this is kind of like Trevor Lawrence make or break type of kind of like got to do something now. So yeah, it's very interesting. I think if the Texans O-line can actually block for C.J. Stroud this year, they will definitely win the division. I think they're still the most complete team, both offensively and defensively. So I have the Texans as number one. At number two, very tough because, like I said, I think there's just three quarterbacks that have to prove something. But I'm going to put the Colts as number two. I think they're the other most complete team in this league. But we'll have to see how quarterback play goes. And then at number three, I'm going to put the Titans. I know it's a little bit of a reach because I get Cam Ward's a rookie, but I like Calvin Ridley. I'm a big Calvin Ridley guy. But I don't know. Both of those teams are very comparable to me, so it's very hard to... So I'm going to put Titans at 3 and then Jags at 4.
All right, let's move on to the AFC East, where I think I just got to say 2 words here and you guys will get me. Josh Allen. Any further questions? Any questions from the class?
Is Cam Newton still on the Patriots when we picked the Patriots the last time? Yeah, no, I think we
you can pick the Dolphins and Jets just like last year, guys. I welcome it. I keep the receipts. You guys, any takers? Any takers? We got Tua Tagovailoa. We got whoever's playing for the Jets these days. Come on, give it to me.
Justin Fields.
Anybody.
Justin Fields.
Fields come on.
Mania.
Anybody. No, because they all suck. It will be the Bills running away with this one, followed by, in my opinion, the Dolphins, then the Patriots, and then the Jets.
Yeah. Fields Mania, not the highest, is not going to do it in the division. Yeah, Bills. Again, maybe it's the P team names. The Pats. I like Mike Vrabel. I think that he's instilling some kind of culture. And maybe it's probably... I'm not very confident in what the Dolphins are doing. They didn't really do much of anything. Like, they're just hoping on health. They're hoping on... Again, I hope Tua comes back, has a great year. But again, that defense concerns me. That Mike... it doesn't seem like he has a great grasp on the culture there. They didn't really make a lot of changes. And that's why I have the Pats second. I like what they're building. I think Drake May is going to play better this year. They're going to have some more established continuity. They're kind of getting out of that rebuild. They're on that higher trajectory. So I think it's the Pats, the Dolphins, and the Jets. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I think it's close between the Patriots and the Dolphins. I think Bills are obviously going to take the first place spot there, but I think if Mike Vrabel continues to make the changes he has in the preseason with this offense, and Drake May makes those strides, I think you could see the Patriots take second. I just don't trust, like Jake said, what the Dolphins are doing. They're just kind of hanging on by the threads of what they have, praying that Tua doesn't turn into a vegetable on the field. I mean, I don't know. I think that the Dolphins need a whole new shakeup. I mean, and then the Jets they're the Jets. They're like the Cleveland Browns connections. I mean, like they don't know what they're doing ever. So I got Bills, Patriots, Dolphins at the same level than the Jets.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. Obviously, Bills far and away the best team in this division. Uh, Outside the Bills, it's kind of a load of mediocrity and crap. But Jake, you convinced me in that little talk of yours to give the Pats second place. You know, I can't with Tua. You can't trust him. His medical history is horrific, and he's got a brain full of mush basically at this point. So, you know,
I hope him the best. I hope he comes back and he plays
hope
well.
he does.
We all do.
I doubt nobody's wishing him
Yeah.
anything bad. But what does history tell us? History tells us that he's probably going to get hurt again. It feels like it's bound to happen. And like you said, you know, they just the culture there. I don't feel like it's been built at all. Whereas Mike Vrabel with the Patriots, I feel like he's, you know, building something there, and I like Vrabel. I think he's a good coach. So Pats 2, why the heck not? Dolphins 3, and then like Peter said, the Jets, they have no idea what the hell they're doing, so we'll put them at 4 because...
I just want to say I hope none of the Bills players get hurt because their backups are shit. But...
This is true.
But no, I have the Bills winning this division. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I have the Patriots as number 2. I like Mike Vrabel a lot, you know, ex-Steeler player, but yeah, just thinking between the Jets and Miami, that's a tough one, man. I'm gonna give it to the Jets because I think Justin Fields has something to prove against his haters, and he hasn't really been a good quarterback in the NFL, but he hasn't been really dealt the right hand either. I mean, you played at Chicago, who's known for not adapting quarterbacks. You played for the Steelers, who have quarterback situation problems, and now you're playing for the Jets, who, again, don't really have much going for them. So I'm going to say Jets at number 3 and then Miami at number 4, just because I have no idea what they're doing with Tua and his injury problems and everything else, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we're talking about football here. Jacob, you inspired me. Let me call an audible. Let me go back. I'm going to say Patriots number 2.
Whoa.
You've changed my mind. You've changed.
Oh, wow. Changing minds. Changing football minds.
I wish you could change my mind on this last division, though. Let's talk about the NFC West.
You mean the AFC West?
You're right. AFC West. Now we're going to talk about the Chiefs winning another division title. I think it's an inevitability of the NFL at this point until somebody stops them. They're the new Tom Brady and the Patriots. They got the refs around their fingers. You know, they're collecting Infinity Stones at this point. You know, it's a mess. But I think if there's a team that can stop them, let's talk about number 2, the Denver Broncos, baby. Let's ride. Come on, Nate. I know you're gonna pick a number 1. You better. But then we got the Los Angeles Chargers, number 3. Still a good team, but I think the Broncos are taking it over them this year. You know, their defense just looking really good. Their offense starting to come up now. Bo Nix. And then I had the Raiders sitting at 4, drafting a couple of new guys, getting Geno Smith in there, Pete Carroll. We'll see what they do with that, but they're still right now the worst in a good division.
Well, I'm glad my art of persuasion, writing a book out Tuesday, guys. Read it. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, this division, Chiefs, Broncos, I think top two. I think mostly all of us kind of that's kind of the mindset here. Chiefs, Broncos. Until the Chiefs get dethroned, I think that you gotta put them in that position. And the Broncos, I think they showed a lot of promise. With Bo Nix, R.J. Harvey, excited for him to bringing him in there for the backfield. The wide receivers, I think Cortland Sutton might have a big year, especially with Bo Nix, the chemistry that they built last year, and that defense, which top three, top five unit in the game, could really make the argument for one of the best as well. The last two, though, I was kind of in between. The Raiders, they're making a lot of these changes that probably had one of the best off seasons in the league with bringing in Geno Smith, drafting Ashton Genty, Pete Carroll as a head coaching addition, kind of stabilizing the carousel that they had, Antonio Pierce and all the others that have come through. But, right now I got to give the Chargers 3, Raiders 4. But, this is just a tough division. I think the Raiders are one of the best fourth teams in the league.
Jake, you said it. Let's ride. I got Broncos taking first place this year in the division. I think the Broncos defense is a mighty, mighty force to be reckoned with. Bo Nix, he is going to have a huge year this year with Cortland Sutton. I love the backfield committee. Evan Ingram is a huge add to the tight end position there. I think the Chiefs are going to be fantastically surprised how good the Broncos are this year. So I'm going Broncos, Chiefs, because of course they may or may not bribe their way to the divisions. And I have in third place, I'm going to go with the Raiders this year. I think that I really like what Ashton Genty does. I like what Pete Carroll is doing with Geno Smith. Great offseason there. And then I got the Chargers. I feel like Herbert deserves more weapons. I know you have Keenan Allen back, and I know you guys have like Quentin Johnson and stuff like that. Chargers defense and the other holes in that offense aren't really convincing me otherwise.
I love what you said there, my friend, because you're damn right the Broncos are taking the division this year. It's happening, all right? Get the Chiefs crap out of here. I'm sick of it, all right? They got their little docu-series on ESPN right now, Chiefs Kingdom, blah, 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 blah. I don't care, all right? Patrick Mahomes, I don't care. You're packing up, buddy. You're moving out. Broncos are taking the division this year. Bo Nix, the growth I saw from him last year, from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, under Sean Payton, he really settled into the offense and played really well. A lot better than I thought he would going into the season, to be honest. And I think it only goes up from here. As Peter said, they added some weapons. Evan Ingram, great addition to the tight end spot. I like the kid Harvey in the backfield. I think he's going to be good. I'm excited. Sutton, I think, is going to have a great year. And the defense, as you said, one of the best in the league, in my opinion. Pat Surtain, reigning Defensive Player of the Year, best cornerback in the league. No questions about it. It's Broncos. Broncos number 1. Chiefs 2. I mean, they're still the Chiefs, but they're going to be in second place this year. It's Chiefs 2. And that's interesting here for 3 and 4 because I really do think that the AFC West might just be the best division in football this year, at least the most competitive. Love what the Raiders are doing. Brock Bowers. Now you have Ashton Genty, Geno Smith. I mean, quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see, but I have to see it first. For that reason, I'm going to go Chargers 3 just because we've seen it. They've been pretty consistent with Herbert. Harbaugh's a good coach. So I have to see it from the Raiders first to believe it. So until I see it, Chargers 3, Raiders 4. But the Broncos are taking it this year, guys. Broncos 1.
I just wanted to make, before Cameron goes through real quick, I just want to make a little flashback. I do remember saying to you at this time last year, Nate, that Bo Nix will be Sean Payton's new Drew Brees. And I'm seeing it to fruition, man. And it is going to take Sean Payton and Bo Nix to kick Kermit the Frog out of first place and send Kelsey into retirement. Rashee Rice is going behind bars. Get these stupid idiots out of first place, man.
I have a hot take though. I think the Chiefs will actually not be that great this year, and I understand the Patrick Mahomes. I get it. That's why I said a hot take. I get it, but I think the Broncos do have a really good shot this year of definitely winning that division. I just want to say f- the Broncos because he said f- the Steelers. So, but in actuality, I mean, I think the Broncos will win this division. But my hot take is I think the Chargers will take second in the division. And I like a lot of what they are doing. I understand Lad McConkey, right? He's a good receiver. Justin Herbert's played well with him. But I do like the additions they have. I love Amari and Hampton that they picked up from the draft. I like Trey Harris coming out of the draft. I obviously Keenan Allen coming back to the team. I think there's some additions that I really do enjoy. So I'm gonna have my list as the Broncos 1, the Chargers as 2, the Chiefs as 3, and then the Raiders. I think they still need pieces to be rebuilding a little bit. Like Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, great additions. But I think they just need more there to be more of a complete team. Obviously, Max Crosby, but I think they just need more there to be a complete team, so I'm going to have them as the 4.
But let's get to my preseason playoff picture. This is not what it's going to look like, but we'll just pretend that this is what it's going to look like. All right, in the NFC, I got the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at the 1 seed. We got San Francisco in the 2 because of their cake schedule. They're going to be out in the first round. I got the Detroit Lions in number 3. Then we got Tampa Bay at number 4. Then the Commanders at 5, Packers at 6, Cowboys sitting at 7.
Based on what I have in the NFC, the division winners, agree with the Eagles number 1, Rams at number 2. Big Rams guy. I think Matthew Stafford stays healthy. They win enough games for the 2nd seed. Bucks in the 3rd, Lions in the 4th. I think they're going to win their division. There's going to be some regression in the records, though, so I think they're going to be at 4th. Wild card 5 is the Niners. 6 is the Commanders, and I'm going to put the Packers in there. I think the Packers do enough. They get that last wild card seed.
Yeah, I'm kind of going over my list right now here really quick. I have the Eagles at the 1 seed. I have the Lions at the 2, Bucks at the 3, Rams at the 4, Commanders at the 5. I'm going to take Niners at 6 and Green Bay at 7. That's my list, I think, for the NFC seeding.
I'm pretty similar with Jake's line of thinking here. I think the Eagles 1. I'll go Rams 2. I like the experience they have. Stafford. I think they'll win enough games to get the 2nd spot. 3, though, I'm going with my surprise pick division winner. I'm going Packers 3. Bucks 4. The 5th seed I give to the Lions. So I still think that'll be a very competitive division up there in the north. 6, I'll go Niners. And then 7, Commanders. We'll see if they have a sophomore slump with Jaden Daniels, but just because of the easy schedule for the Niners, I think the Niners will end up having a better record than the Commanders. So Commanders in the 7th seed.
I wasn't prepared for this.
It was all right.
I agree. I like Nate's list, so we're going to go with Nate's list.
Yeah.
Well, Nate wins. Okay, now let's move to the AFC side where I have the Buffalo Bills sitting at the 1 seed. 2 seed for me is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. 3, Kansas City Chiefs. 4, the Texans. Then at 5, I'm going to have the Denver Broncos. 6, we will have the Cincinnati Bengals. And 7, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Been thinking about this, the list that I picked, the back and forth discussion we had. 1, I'm going to go with the Ravens. 2, I'm going to go with the Bills. 3, going to go with the Chiefs. 4, the Texans, division winners there, the wild card. 5 is the Broncos. Now, these other 2 spots, very interesting. Very interesting. You got, for me, the Pats, the Steelers, the Chargers in there. Man, I think it's gonna go Chargers, Pats, Steelers don't make it. They're out by like a game. They're like battling the last week of the season. There's gonna be 3 teams in the AFC West that make the postseason in my eyes.
So I'm gonna go Buffalo, Baltimore, Broncos, Texans, Chiefs, Bengals, Chargers.
This is a tough one. Again, really comes down to schedules, I think, for these first 2. But Buffalo's in a much easier division. So I'm going to give the Bills the 1 seed. The Ravens the 2 seed. More competitive division. So I think they might lose more games. 3 seed, my Denver Broncos. Going with the Broncos. Let's go. Let's ride, baby. For the Texans, 5th seed, I will slot the Chiefs in there. The 6th seed, going to give it to the Chargers. I'm with Jake. I think 3 teams from the AFC West make the playoffs once again this year. And then that final seed, it's a tough one. Because I think it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be very competitive. I think you're going to have the Bengals, Steelers, even the Pats competing for that spot. I'm going to give it to the Bengals, though. The offense. Maybe I'm seeing, smoke and mirrors, but that offense is so good. I don't know. I'm going to go Bengals in the 7th spot.
I got the Baltimore Ravens as the 1 seed. I'm going to have the 2 seed as the Buffalo Bills. The 3 seed, the Texans. And the 4th seed, oh, that's right. Yeah, the Broncos. Yeah, give me the Broncos.
Well, we're gonna be watching. All gonna be watching. Start of September, just a few weeks away from the official kickoff of the regular season. See how this all shakes out. We will be providing updates at some point during the season on how these predictions are going in each division. Another long episode. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. A late night episode here. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Lunch Hour Sports Podcast. Catch you in the next video.